What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at The Devil's Advocate, starring Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. All right, let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. Overall, I like The Devil's Advocate. To me, this movie does have some flaws to it, but overall, I find it to be very, very good. So, with all that being said, let's discuss the positives. First off, the overall story of this movie, I actually really like it. I think this movie has, for the most part, a very interesting and solid story. The overall plot line is Keanu Reeves plays this big fish in a small pond lawyer named Kevin Lomax in Florida, who gets recruited by this big New York law firm that's headed by John Milton, who is played by Al Pacino. Kevin goes to New York with his wife. He hits it big, but while he's there, strange things start to happen. Very strange things starts to happen. His wife starts to get hallucinations. Kevin starts to get hallucinations, and he starts to find out that his boss is Satan himself. That is an overall very interesting plot. And I thought for the most part, the execution was well handled. For the most part, it was well handled. I like how Tyler Hackford, the director, he didn't use an overabundance of supernatural with this movie. And when he did use it, it was done for a psychological effect. And I thought he handled it very, very, very well. I think parts of the third act are really, really good. But I also think parts of the third act are where this movie's flaws really start to show, for me at least. And there are a couple of side characters that I thought could have been utilized much, much better throughout the course of the film. But overall, the story to me was overall very interesting and very strong. And the whole idea of a courtroom drama meets The Exorcist, though on paper it sounds really ridiculous, but while watching this movie, it kind of meshes to the best of its ability, and it works in some areas, and in other areas it kind of does not work. But to me, it doesn't ruin my overall enjoyment of the film. So, yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the story itself. So let's talk about the cast. Keanu Reeves, who plays Kevin Lomax, the hotshot Florida lawyer. I liked Keanu Reeves in this movie. Keanu Reeves will never go down as the world's greatest thespian actor. He ain't the best at doing a lot of emotional emoting, nor is he good at doing accents. But in this movie, I thought he tried, and you can really tell that Reeves is really trying to put in an authentic Southern type of performance. For the most part, he does it for a lot, and then in a lot of scenes, it's kind of comes across as flat in some areas. But overall, Reeves, he is trying, and I'm a Keanu Reeves fan. Reeves does get a lot of criticism for his acting abilities, but I never found him to be half bad. I mean, this won't go down as one of Reeves' most greatest performances ever, but I do think it's an overall solid performance. I like the chemistry with him and Charlize Theron, who plays his wife, Marianne. They come across as a couple that is very, very devoted to one another. But once they go to New York, that's where their divide starts to happen, and Annabeth starts to feel isolation, and that's where she starts to get hallucinations. And then you first see Marianne. She's looking like she's coming out of a glam rock band, and then later on in the film, she cuts her hair, and then she becomes like all grungy, in a sense. And I give a lot of credit to Charlize Theron. I thought she played a really good job at showing the gradual decline of her character's sanity as the movie progresses, and I don't think Theron got enough credit for her performance in this movie. That's just me personally, because I liked her, and I do like the chemistry with her and Keanu Reeves and a lot of the scenes they share. In the scenes where they're a devoted couple, I thought they felt very natural. In the scenes where their relationship is falling apart, it felt good. It felt real to me, is for lack of a better word. So yeah, I got no complaints with Reeves and Theron at all. I thought they were really good in their roles. Al Pacino, who plays the devil, Satan. This is Al Pacino we're talking about. He's pretty much playing the Michael Corleone version of Satan. And to me, I thought Pacino was having a good time just hamming it up in a lot of areas as the character of Satan, the great manipulator. And a lot of the best scenes are pretty much with Pacino and Reeves and the screen time they're sharing. And these scenes are basically just the devil trying to seduce this man, and it works perfectly for me. And just to see Kevin Lomax buy into what he's being sold, and Pacino being so genuine and so and so devilish, for lack of a better phrase, in those scenes are just a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, I have zero complaints with Al Pacino as Satan. I thought he was awesome. Now we get into the supporting cast, which includes actors like Ruben Santiago, Delroy Lindo, and another actress who plays this character called Christabella, and Jeffrey Jones, who plays this character called Eddie Barzoni, and Craig T. Nelson as a guy named Alex Cullen, who the Lomax character pretty much is defending throughout the course of the film, since he was involved in a triple murder homicide. I thought these guys were fine in their roles. Ruben Santiago, he pretty much plays an associate of Milton's character. He doesn't really do a whole lot in the movie. He's mostly there just to introduce us to a lot of characters and introduce us to the New York setting. He doesn't really play a major key role in the movie, but I thought he was okay. I mean, his wife plays more of a role, as she pretty much the wife character of the Santiago character. She plays more of a role in this movie as she befriends the Marianne character, and it's Marianne who hallucinates her as being something of devilish. So yeah, he's okay by himself. Jeffrey Jones as the character of Eddie Bronzone. I like Jeffrey Jones. I mean, and I know in Jeffrey Jones' personal life, he did some really shady shit, and he should be punished for that. Shit. But as an actor, I can't discredit him because I do like him, and I enjoyed him in this movie as Eddie Bronzone, as a guy who is pretty much ultimately jealous of the success that Kevin is getting this early on in his career at the firm. He's basically here for like 2 months. He's already got a big suite. So you can see the jealousy in Eddie Bronzone in Jeffrey Jones' character because of that. And his death scene is very entertaining, where he's pretty much doing a jog in Central Park, and then he gets beat up by a couple of demonic bums. So what a way to go out, Mr. Eddie Bronzone. The character of Christabella, I thought she was okay. She pretty much plays into the devil trying to tempt you with forbidden fruit. That's what Christabella's character really is, and pretty much Kevin fantasizes about having an affair with Christabella. And then when you get to the end of the movie, you realize it's revealed that Christabella is the half sibling of Kevin and the daughter of Satan. And the whole reason why Christabella is being used for Kevin is because Satan wants these two to conceive the Antichrist. That whole third act is what I don't really care for. I hated it. You could have taken all that out and just have the movie just be the devil grooming Kevin to take his place on Hell's throne, and I would have thought that would be more satisfying as opposed to what we got in the third act. But as sexual eye candy and as something for Kevin to desire over, I thought the actress who played Christabella overall did a decent job. Delroy Lindo, he plays a character called Felipe Morez, who is pretty much in a scene just to get Kevin's feet wet in the New York law firm. It really doesn't do anything, which is a shame because it's explained to us that Philip Moyes does things for like religious purposes. So when I would have used the Moyes character for when the Marianne character starts to really go off the deep end, as a latch ditch effort, I would have had the Lomax character go to the Moyes character to try and do his witchcraft or whatever it is he's doing to try and see what's wrong with Marianne. Give Delroy Lindo a little bit more to do. Give his character some more to do instead of just coming off as a glorified cameo that doesn't really do anything in the long run. So I think Lindo is pretty much wasted in this role. Though I do like the scene, though I do like his performance in the movie, you could have done more with it. That's just my thoughts on that personally. And finally, Craig T. Nelson, who plays Alex Cullen, which is the bulk of Lomax's work in New York. I liked Craig T. Nelson in this movie as a man who is claiming to be innocent, yet all the evidence points out to the fact that he really did commit the crimes he committed, but Lomax is dedicated to getting him off the hook, and he eventually does. And I thought Craig T. Nelson was actually pretty good in this movie. I think we could have gotten a couple more scenes with him, but overall, I thought he was fine. And as also, like I mentioned, I like the satanic imagery and religious allegory in this movie. It's not over the head. It's not shoved in your face it's not shoved in your face all the time. There are moments where they can go a little too over the board with it. But I like how Hackford didn't let it take over the overall story. He didn't let the religious allegories, take center stage and put the story second, is what I'm trying to say. But I do like all the stuff that they have. You know, especially with Kevin's fundamentalist mother, who revealed to Kevin that that John Milton is his father, and stuff like that. So, you know, like pretty much the Virgin Mary was impregnated by Satan in a sense. So I thought that was was interesting to itself. Yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts on The Devil's Advocate. Before I sign off, I mentioned the fact that I think the third act is a little bit too over the top with the whole Chris Bella hook, but I do like how the movie does reset itself at the end once Kevin shoots himself. And it pretty much goes back to the beginning where he's in a Gainesville courtroom trying to pretty much get off a sexual pervert. And it's him getting off that pervert is what gets the movie rolling in the first place. Now we go back to that where he kind of like risks being disbarred because he refuses to defend his client after he knows the truth. So that stuff I like. That's pretty much Kevin learning from the mistakes that was made for him. Now he wants to try and do a reset. So that way he doesn't have to go through that again and also lose his wife in the process because she kills herself. All right, now we're done. So with all that being said, I like The Devil's Advocate. I think this is a very good movie. It's very, very solid. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.